What's going on, guys? It's Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Today I'm joined by Connor Rideout, who'll be fighting at Cage Wars 41 against the champion in the lightweight division. Connor, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. Really excited about this fight. Really excited just all the exposure I'm getting because of it. I feel like I'm really taking the next step in my martial arts career. So it's really cool.
Awesome. You're going to be fighting Chris Almastica, who's the current champion at 155 in Cage Wars. Tell us a little bit about what you expect from him. I'm sure you've gotten to see a little bit of film. I know there's some on YouTube. Tell us what you expect from him inside the cage.
I was watching some of his stuff, and me and my team are at the consensus that he doesn't really offer a lot. He doesn't seem very technical. He seems strong. He seems physically strong. He seems physically bigger than I am. So, we're working on a lot of different stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail, but, movement is a big part of my game. So I think I can really beat him on the feet. And, we're just going to kind of play it out like that.
Awesome.
He seems to lack in wrestling. Striking doesn't seem to have a lot of dynamic movement to that. So, we'll see. I feel like I can beat him really in any area.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, how you got into MMA, where you started.
Sure. Yeah, I started in a really small town called Tottenham, about 5,000 people or so, local karate studio, just like a 1 day a week MMA class. And once I started doing that, I'm like, fuck, that's the fun part. Like, fighting is what I'm into. I'm not into sitting there in horse stance doing kata for 40 minutes or whatever. So, started doing that. And then as soon as I could drive, I got out of the city and started going somewhere bigger and better. And it took off with Muay Thai. And then it just kind of rolled into just functional MMA. It just MMA has kind of always been my base since I was 14, just everything.
Okay, and what's your current record going into this fight?
3-2. Yeah.
3-2. Okay. Do you have a background in karate? How's your grappling game? Is that something you work hard on? You jiu-jitsu guy, wrestler?
Yeah. I love jits. Really working hard on my wrestling. I was never really exposed to high school wrestling per se.
Okay.
We don't have much of that in Canada, or well, not in my areas anyways. It's just not like a huge thing. But really working on my MMA specific wrestling, using the cage to work them to the ground. Just kind of covering all those areas. But jiu-jitsu, before this last decision I had 2 submission wins before that. So nice. I'm 3 in a row right now. Yeah, awesome. I had a triangle and then an armbar.
So you said you were three wins in a row. You suffered 2 losses to start your career. What did you learn most about those losses that helped you get those 3 wins in a row?
My first fight, I was 18, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like I really had a really strong support base beneath me. Kind of alone going into the fight. I found the fight myself, and something funny about that fight is just the preparation going into it was pretty strong. I worked out every day. I made sure I was always at the gym. But then the day of is when I kind of fuck shit up. Right after weigh-ins, I pounded. I don't know if you guys have Eastside Mario's, but it's just this really shitty chain of Italian food. But
okay.
Yeah, I pounded a big thing of fettuccine Alfredo, right, it was something out of The Office, and my belly just felt like a fucking boulder. And then I had pre-workout for the first time in my life before that fight because I thought it would give me lots of energy for it, but it just kind of made me freak out, and it didn't really work out in my favor. Yeah, but the second fight, a little bit more mature, 19 then, and it was just a good fight. That guy, he's 3-0 as a pro now. I don't really have any regrets from that. We got fight of the night, and I just kind of I found my stride since then, just being able to win and pull through.
Is this your first fight in America coming down for, or have you fought your all your fights been in Canada, or you fought in America?
My last fight was in Canada, in Toronto specifically, but before that I've had 2 fights in Montana with a Fight League. Yeah. My
Awesome.
wife is from Montana, so I'm down there a ton. I got a home gym down there as well, Grindhouse MMA,
Nice,
and
nice.
yeah, lots and lots of fighters out there.
So, but now you're coming to New York, and New York's kind of known, at least especially downstate, known for the breeding grounds for fighters, boxers, legendary boxers coming out of there. And upstate New York's put a pretty good name on the map for themselves. What do you expect though from like the New York crowd? You're coming from Canada, making a little bit of a trip. Are there any expectations from this Cage Wars for your first time?
Uh, like I'm half expecting them to boo. Like he's kind of a hometown guy. He's from the New York area, at least from what I gather. But you know, I'm from Toronto. It's like 5 hours away. I don't really see it to an American. So yeah, I'm comfortable down there. And if they want to boo me, I'm really going to give them something to boo about when I beat the shit out of them. So
Now, what are some of your goals in the sport of MMA? Short term, obviously, to win the fight, but anything specifically you want to try to do without giving out your strategy? And then long term wise, how many fights do you want to fight before? Do you want to turn pro? And if so, when do you plan on making that leap?
yeah, absolutely plan on going pro within probably the beginning of next year. I just want to pound out a shit ton of fights. I've been on this streak 3 in a row. I just want to keep that rolling. And then so as soon as that's like the year's up, I'm thinking whatever pro promotion's looking, I'm willing to jump on it. Short term, yeah, just taking as many fights as I can. After I take this belt, I want to go down to Montana and take their belt too. So yeah, yeah, just kind of compete with my wife. I really love like my long term goal is teaching. I absolutely
Okay.
love to teach martial arts. I teach a couple privates a week. They're fairly basic, just some easy striking stuff. But I absolutely love it. As soon as I kind of build a bit of a reputation and a base, a little bit of a following, like that's really the reason I'm pursuing martial arts is I want to open up my own school. I have two kids classes. I
That's
absolutely love
awesome.
them. And yeah, at Primal MMA, I should give them a shout out as well because like they've just given me so many opportunities as like a young man who's 22 in a city of 3 million people to be getting to just so many opportunities. So I'm just really grateful for that, and that's what I love.
That's awesome. Yeah, coaching is definitely for some people, not for everyone. Um,
Yeah,
what
you
is
teach something, you learn twice.
Yeah. No, when you're coaching though and you're teaching, how much does that help you as a fighter inside the cage? Because I know, like coaching high school wrestling or football, and you're competing after you're coached, then you know what? I got to remember these details I've been teaching everyone. It's a little different when you're getting taught something, and then all of a sudden you're teaching, and now it's in your mind. No, we got to make sure we do this correctly. How much does that help you?
Honestly, like I just said, when you teach something, you learn it twice, and I really live by that motto because it forces you to break things down. It
Hmm.
forces you to study. Like when I was teaching Muay Thai classes for a little bit there, when we were having in and out with instructors at the gym, like I really didn't want to have to commit to that position, and I was too young for it as well. I didn't have enough experience, but when I was kind of subbing in, I would spend maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours just looking up techniques, finding a flow for the class, like what striking really works together and pairing that with like entering into a clinch or blah, blah, blah. But like
Hmm.
it's all steps, it's progression, right? So when you teach something, especially in my kids' MMA class as well, I'm teaching them striking, how to enter with their hands. So when I'm really slowly breaking that down, I'm doing that for myself as well. So like, yeah, I don't know. It really helps build my confidence. It really understand martial arts in general.
Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. When how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
22.
All right, so you're still a young guy. You got a lot ahead of you. Um,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the gym you train at. How often you train, and do you work on the side?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I like I said, I got the little gig at the gym, a couple privates a week, and the kids classes. Um, I got the here's something funny. I teach a girls kickboxing class, but it's a preteen girls kickbox or say early teens. So they're all 13. They all come from the same private school, and they're all best friends. So it's just like 1 hour a week. I get to just hang out in girls' club, and I get them to learn kickboxing. And sometimes they get into it, and it's the coolest shit I've ever seen. Because there's the one she started out with. I'm like, yeah, come on, smash the bat, smash it, hit it harder. And she goes, my hand, it hurts. And I'm like, okay, how about the other one? Like, I know you hurt that hand. And then she's like, this one, it hurts too. And I'm like, how about you kick a little bit harder? She's like, that was my shin, this one, I don't know. And that one, you can't. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then 3 weeks later, she's like asking me, like, can I hit more? Can I hit more? You know, like she really wanted to get into it. It was super, super cool. So like that just makes like it goes back to teaching, right? Like it just really inspires me and makes me want to do more. But with that, I'm training 6 days a week. Today's actually my rest day, so I just do 2 hours of yoga today, a lot of stretching, you know, on the foam roller, stuff like that. But other than that, it's like 3 hours a day every day, and it's 100% a lifestyle for me.
That's
And
awesome.
full time school, taking a criminology degree, and I do what's called, I don't know if you guys have it down there, but it's food. It's on a bike, so I get 15 hours of biking in as well.
Say that again. It kind of broke up when you said it. Food what on a bike?
It's called Foodora. It's like Uber Eats on a bike. I don't know if you
Okay,
have that,
interesting.
but yeah, I do like 15 hours of hard biking a week doing that, as well as just biking everywhere. I'm always on my bike, and whenever I'm
So
doing.
cardio is not an issue for you, pretty much.
Never, never. And you know, with that as well, I found the biggest improvement to my cardio because I've always had good cardio because of all the biking and everything I do, but it's yoga. Just the breath control, I
Okay.
found translates so well into like real functional martial arts.
Hmm.
Just being able to stay calm. Like I have one of my coaches, you know, like when they come to me in the corner, like break down everything, what I need to know. I don't like having a lot of people talking in my face at once. And the other one, I just want him to like scream in my face, fucking breathe. Focus on that really controlled breathing, and it changes your recovery completely in the fight and on the stool.
You know, that's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to ask you about the yoga when you mentioned it because you hear a couple people here and there say they use it, but a lot of amateur fighters don't usually hear saying they're using yoga as a way on your rest day and just to control the breathing and everything. So it's pretty interesting and different
Yeah,
aspect because now you're hearing about yoga being used in the NFL, um, like all the professional levels of sport. Everyone's using yoga.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Lou Berkovitz. I don't know if I said his last name right, but he does our yoga every Sunday. I'm in a power yoga class with him at the gym, and I've fallen in love with it from the breath, the range of motion, the flebic. Oh my god, ability. You know, like it may have been hit too many times. I don't know, but yeah, it's really just changed my martial arts completely, and my body just feels healthier in general. Like it's those small muscles that cause the most injuries, right?
Hmm.
Those stabilizing muscles, and that's what yoga is 100% focused on building. So like I'm healthier than I've ever been.
That's awesome. Speaking about you're joking around, oh, I've been hit too many times in the head. But it's a question I've been asking a lot of fighters, especially younger fighters like yourself, because it's something I feel like it's maybe being ignored a little bit. Is you hear
Hmm.
about in the football is the CTE, too many hits to the head, you're losing your marbles at a later age in life.
Yeah.
Is that something you ever thought about and like cross your mind and try to protect
Yep.
yourself at practice?
Yep. Always. You know, I have no problem with my pride. If someone's swinging to the fences, and like I'm not one to get dragged into wars that doesn't help us at all. You
Hmm.
know, like one guy gets pegged pretty good, and his head gets snapped back, and he's like, okay, well I got to give it back twice as hard. Like right away, I'll call that off because it nobody grows from it. Like
Hmm.
real martial artists, when they're trying to perform and be at their best, they're thinking about every part of their body, their mental state, and their physical.
Hmm.
Like it's always on my mind. I'm actually helping this guy with his thesis. He's doing it on brain health in mixed martial arts. So he's like doing, I guess, not a documentary per se, but just a piece on me specifically and what I try to do for it. Like I even spend every single day strengthening my neck because the biggest issue with like brain injuries is the head snap and then the brain
The
hits the side,
whiplash.
right? So I spend so much time strengthening my neck. I got a what's it called? One of those head weight
Okay.
things on it, and
Yep.
I connected a whole bunch of elastic bands to it, and I just kind of hit it from every angle, and then I stretch it all out afterwards, and that as well. I want like a 42-inch neck.
And there's big old traps and everything sticking out.
Yeah, just
No, it's awesome to hear though that you're talking about this and that you actively take part in taking precautions in this because it's something I feel like a lot of fighters avoid and just don't think about or even talk about. I know the
yeah,
UFC early in days they donated some money and then hushed it up and bam, that was it.
yeah.
So no, it's awesome
Well,
to hear that.
I think people ignore it just because they think it's a net. They think that like, oh, if we're going to be a part of the sport, it's bound to happen. So
Hmm.
whatever, just roll with the punches, literally, or take them, I should say. But like, I don't know, there's stuff we can do to at least mitigate the risk and slow it down if you plan on having a really long career. Like I said, my goal is to teach, and that's part of it. Like, I don't want my body destroyed for when I'm 70 years old and sitting there like this. Like, want to be functional for the rest of my life and being
Yeah.
able to teach martial arts like one of those 90-year-olds doing judo or something, but I'll be pressing them against the cage, just beating the shit out of like some young kid, you know. So I got long term goals, like we already talked about.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's awesome that you have a plan and you're looking to execute that after your fighting days are over because not many people
Yeah,
look ahead. Well, tell us, you don't seem like a much of a trash talker though. Is that something you feel you like in the sport of MMA or you don't dislike? How do you waver on that?
I tell you what, like I love Colby Covington. I love
Okay.
him. Like I know he's just being a heel, and like it's obviously part him, part persona. Like
Hmm.
he's a piece of shit, but like I just love every second of it. Chael Sonnen, same thing. Michael Bisping, like all of those guys get me hyped about fights. I don't like Connor. That like he just kind of annoys me, takes it to the next level. But I'm honestly really into it. I like to talk. Like
Okay.
the last guy I fought, he was Korean. So I looked up some Korean beforehand, and he struck this big pose, and he's looking at me and going, ah! And then he comes up into my face, and I go, "Anyon appa," which basically means "hello, daddy." And it just completely broke him. And then he started laughing, and I was like, "I fucking won, man." But he's trying to like strike fear in my heart, and then he's giggling in my face. I'm like, and then even the next day, he's just like, "Hey, like you really surprised me when you said that." Like, and so I'm like, "Don't worry about it, Alpha." And then I got it. Like,
Did you think so? You think the fight actually starts at weigh-ins? Is that when you think it starts?
yeah, absolutely. Like I'm sizing him up, he's sizing me up. Like if we can get the mental edge and go and get it. He's not going to get it on me because I just know I'm prepared and I know what I need to do. But if someone's emotional or someone's like playing a game and not being themselves, and I'm able to expose that in front of all those people, like I did with the Korean guy, then like I feel like I've already won the fight and I dominated that guy for 5 rounds. So like whatever, Chris is next. I'll mace the Mr.
Yeah, I'm a sneaker. He's definitely he seems like a quiet guy. He's definitely a tough guy. I've seen him come back in some tough battles. Um,
Yeah.
is there any? I know I kind of already asked you this. If he has any really challenges that he presents to you, but is there one thing that you would like to say to him going into the fight?
One thing I like to say to him, not really. Like I know you're a tough guy, Chris, and I hope you bring it because I like having fun fights. But I know you're not gonna win. But it's all good. I'm excited about it.
I know I'm excited for this fight. Just talking to you and hearing the way you train and everything, just pumps up this fight even that much more, getting to know
Oh
you.
yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped about this fight. I have the luxury of commentating the fight alongside Will Barry. So
Oh yeah.
so it should be a great fight. What's something that inspires you and motivates you every time you train and get inside the cage and fight?
Inspires me. Just love for martial arts, I'd have to say. My wife is a huge part of that. Like we actually met in my gym, Primal MMA. He's been at all of my fights that I've won, and in my corner. Well, not literally in my corner because like that might stress me out, but I always look at her through the cage, and that really drives me. And she's not going to be at this one, sadly, but I'm going to bring the ring. Gonna do what I can to sneak it in the cage. Maybe, who knows? I'm
uh,
kidding, but
who?
yeah, like she really really drives me. She's badass as fuck and amazing. So yeah.
That's awesome. Who's going to be in your corner? What are the coaches going to be? Who are the coaches that are going to be with you?
My really really good buddy Nathan Taylor and an ex pro fighter that's been doing a lot of work with us at Primal named Seiji. So yeah, they're going to be working with us. My brother's
Excellent.
also coming down. He's going to be a water boy. So,
Awesome. Hey, like I
yeah.
said, I'm pumped to see you get in there. One last question before I let you go. What's one thing about you that nobody knows but you'd like to share with everyone?
Nobody knows. Well, I like telling people I'm vegan, so there's that.
Okay.
But nobody, I tell everybody that. Nobody knows. Uh, I still play the violin.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I try to do that at least once a week. A
Uh,
little bit of fiddle music.
Is that kind of like a de-stressor, just something to relax and enjoy, or is that something you bring to the next level?
No, no, I just it's like some people fuck around with the guitar. Sometimes I'll just pick up my violin and play that for a little bit. For Christmas, actually, I transcribed me and my wife's wedding song into violin music.
Oh,
Didn't really
awesome.
sound like it, but it sounded okay. So I played it for her in a park, and she was all surprised. She didn't even know I was playing it. So yeah, I really enjoy that. I've been doing that for 8 or 9 years now. So yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, man, well, I appreciate you hopping on. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. Real quick
Yeah, thank
before
you.
we go, I just want to let you have the opportunity to shout out any sponsors you may have or any supporters that you want to recognize.
Yeah, for sure. Just want to say shout out to Primal MMA. That's the home gym. Absolutely love it. The Grindhouse in Montana. Absolutely love them. They're my second home. AST in Scarborough with Z Lau. A huge part of my camp. I didn't get to talk about them anymore at all, but like they're amazing. My wife Yasmin, love you. What else? Yeah, yeah. No. Actually, got my first sponsor. Love
Awesome.
Good Fats. It's a ketogenic bar. Like for people who are looking for just fats on the go. Yeah.
Nice. Good for you, man. Sponsors are a huge part of it. As you know,
Yeah. Cool.
it pays for your gym time, pays for shorts and all medical bills and all that fun stuff. So, hey, like I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
congratulations on this opportunity to fight at Cage Wars 41. I'm looking forward to this fight. It should be exciting. Any last words? Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Thank you for having me on, and I'm just excited to kick some ass. I'm going to bring a lot to the table, and I hope he does too. Like I've been saying, so we'll see.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, pal. Connor Rideout, ladies and gentlemen, fighting in Cage Wars 41 against Chris Almastica for the not light heavyweight, lightweight title. Cage Wars 41, April 6th. This is Carroll's Corner MMA podcast, and we're out.